This is a presentation of the Sports Source Digital Network, presented by Hearthside Bank.
So how about it? The next week of college football, we take a look at the calendar and the menu, and there's a couple of treats that we need to highlight for you. Chuck, you see note, Chuck Cavalaris, pump it away. Tyler Ivens, you are inside the Sports Source Digital Network. We like to call this action. Your Tennessee ETSU prop and play is on the way. But Chuck, we also like to open things up with looking at what the conference looks like, all right? I mean, we did a little Texas last week. We did a little LSU. This week, there's still another team that's going to be welcoming in an out-of-conference foe, and that's where we're going to get started. Oklahoma, they're going to be Oklahoma's going to be welcoming in Michigan. I got that confused from last year's matchup. Michigan coming down from Ann Arbor down to Norman, Oklahoma, where right now the Sooners, they're a 6-point favorite. How John Mateer looked. You've got a true freshman starting at Michigan. There's a lot of questions, especially when it comes to quarterback play in this matchup.
I tell you what, this is really what college football needs to be.
Thank you.
In September, a marquee matchup. And isn't it time for the SEC to stand up and be noticed?
Thank you.
And do something and not just, compete, but win a game.
Yeah.
So can you do that against an Oklahoma team, freshman quarterback, a new quarterback? You've got Michigan coming in there. Freshman quarterback.
Bryce Underwood.
There's so many subplots to this that I really am intrigued, and we're going with the line of -6?
Just short of a touchdown.
Just short of a touchdown for Oklahoma. So, I mean, I think it's just a wonderful matchup.
To me, when I look at this Michigan game, it's simple. They're going to need every single one of these games to be able to reach that 8-4 mark when it comes to their win total. We still look at win totals when it comes to a whole lot of what the total season, the totality of the season is going to bring to the table. But asking an 18-year-old kid to go down to Norman, Oklahoma, where John Mateer and Brent Venables have a lot in store for this season, we got some questions about suspensions when it comes to targeting who will be lost for 30 minutes here or there.
Right.
That's one of the, disadvantages of doing this on Mondays, but we still get you the best number possible. So you decide, would you rather have the best number? Would you rather have updates on injuries and suspensions? Me, I'd rather have the best number depending on how it plays out. Short and sweet to get to the point. We just saw 2 SEC teams last week. Texas go to the shoe. Alabama go down to Tallahassee, and there were struggles. I think now turnabout's going to be fair play. I'm going to lay these 6 points, Chuck Cavalaris. I think Oklahoma is going to get themselves a nice little feather in the cap for Brent Venables to kind of get that runway longer before the takeoff. I like OU in this matchup.
Yeah, and this is where when you've got, what a great quarterback addition you have for
John
Oklahoma.
Mateer has a chance to be special.
Yeah, which you picked that out before the season.
Yeah.
So kudos to you on that. And he broke Baker Mayfield's, debut record. Had yards and then had 3 touchdown passes. Playing at home, and this frees up Brent Venables, right?
Thank you. Yes.
This is what Oklahoma had needed so badly last year. Obviously, Michigan, that's still a good football team.
Right.
So I don't think you can just automatically go that it's going to be a cakewalk Oklahoma.
How much is the Shamar Moore suspension weighing in on this selection?
Well,
clearly it didn't hurt when Harbaugh got knocked a couple of games, but you're down your head coach.
Yeah. That has to factor in some.
I think just a little bit.
Right. And if nothing else, it's in communication. And what happens when the first big game time decision? Do you go for it?
Yes.
Do we kick it? I mean, that's when it really comes into play. So I just think the meter's leaning towards the home team.
Yeah.
And finally, the SEC should get a win against the Big Ten in a Big Ten team in a big matchup.
How about, I've been waiting for stuff like this, our next matchup, for some time. Early conference matchups. SEC, you're so close. Give us like a week 1 conference matchup, and I'll absolutely kiss you. This is good for week 2. How about Ole Miss? It's the revenge game. Chuck Cavalaris. Ole Miss is going up to Lexington, where you have a Kentucky team who had their fits with Toledo, and now they welcome in an Ole Miss team who, I'm just going to say it, they can't be too happy because that loss last year to Kentucky when they came to Oxford essentially cost them a college football playoff
but I'll tell you what, some people have forgotten that. I don't think Lane Kiffin has.
No.
You were at home against Kentucky. You were a 15.5-point favorite.
Right.
You have, you lose the lead when Kentucky scoops and scores.
Yes.
And then you missed a field goal.
Yes.
So you lose 20-17 at home. And that was Kentucky's only win in the SEC. So we've seen Kentucky as a 10-point favorite against Toledo. Now we see them as a 10-point dog against Ole Miss. I think this line should be at least a field goal or so higher. I think it's a little bit light, but, Ole Miss is not a great team to cover the number, though.
We pointed that out a couple of weeks back. If you want to talk about teams who offensive production, I understand you're talking about the number, but the offensive production,
Right.
the only team that had been slipping up over the last 2 seasons more than Tennessee when it came to totals and the number was Ole Miss. So that's a little nugget. When you watch the Sports Source Digital Network and Chuck and I put these little things in your ear, this is one of those matchups. But I'm with you. I think this should be in that 12 to 13 range.
Easy.
I think Austin Simmons is going to need a game where he can say, I need to show everybody I'm a legit starter in the Southeastern Conference. I'm going to take 10 points. Again, another advantage why we do this on Mondays. Let's say you watch Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. This is in that 12-13 range. I think this is a high climber. I like Ole Miss. Let's get it at this good number of 10 before it clears any of the
Yeah, and real quick,
numbers.
just one more thing back on Ole Miss. 7-3 last year, okay?
Yes.
Straight up. 5-5 against the spread. 3-7 against the total. So they underperformed as far as scoring and didn't have that passing game. I think that the Ole Miss offense is going to be clicking better this year. So would you feel comfortable taking Kentucky plus 10?
No chance.
Okay. See, that's how I look at it a lot.
There are a lot of people who look at kind of what's happening with the change at quarterback. Show me a 5-star quarterback taking over Kentucky's offense, and I'll show you an underperforming offense under Mark Stoops.
Advent Electric has been providing high-quality electrical contractor solutions for 46 years. From 24/7 emergency electrical services to providing skilled residential and commercial electrical contractors and everything in between. Our expert certified electricians are equipped to help you no matter the size or complexity. Advent Electric, 865-588-0631.
And we say thank you to Advent Electric. Hey, listen, do you like the show? We know you do because we can read your comments. Like, ring the bell so you are notified for the next edition of Action and all the incredible things we do here at the Sports Source Digital Network. All right, Chuck, Tennessee time. And it's always so unique trying to find an FCS line, especially when it's offshore accounts. Do you know how many times him and I have reached out to each other being like, where are you finding this weeks, months in advance, and even kind of the week of? It's Tennessee, it's the FCS foe. They're going to be taking on Johnson City's finest, the Buccaneers of East Tennessee State. Props. I went back and I looked just last year at the matchup against Chattanooga. Tennessee totaled over 700 total yards of offense. So the number today I want to look at is just touch below that. New quarterback, Joey Aguilar, shined in the debut against Syracuse. 649 total yards. I didn't want to go 649 and a half, but when we're playing with some of these totals, folks, you get a little bit of an idea of what Tennessee's kind of going up against an FCS foe.
Yeah, and I told John Pennington, you still have to look at the depth chart of the opposing team.
Very true.
Looking at East Tennessee State, they've got some talent on offense. They've got 2 4-star quarterbacks. They had 8 players on offense that were mentioned, all Southern Conference honors. Defense, not so much.
Yeah.
So even if it's another level, if they're bringing in a really good defense for that level, I still got to give them some respect, right? I don't think that's the case here. I think this is more of what you would expect to see. 649 yards.
Yeah.
How much higher above that is the school record?
Yeah.
I think they're going to be thumbing through the media guide to see what that total offense record is. 700 is not out of reach to me, especially with how some of the Tennessee backups perform in the second half.
The question I have about this is, and it's kind of a back and forth with you in the comment section here during the show, were you happy to see somewhat the return of tempo? I love the creativity that Josh Heupel presented when it came to what we saw in the matchup against Syracuse. It's one game, and I don't want to get too far over my skis, but sitting back watching that game from the comforts of my couch, I went, there's something there. We're seeing the resemblance of 2022 a little bit. Did you see the same thing that I saw?
Yes.
Because this is something momentum will allow us to kind of play off of for week 2 with ETSU.
And that's why, and of course you may not have Joey Aguilar, but a half or maybe a half, whatever it is.
Yeah.
But with him, what you like too with the tempo was the quick decisions.
Right.
Decisive, able to run over the right side some, get a good yard, one of what a lot of us thought best play of the game, moving to his left, touchdown pass in the end zone. So you're seeing some of that. I'm looking at this. Would it be 35-0 at halftime with Tennessee having over 400 yards?
Yeah.
I don't know. But I'm hoping for a little bit more of a competitive game.
It's funny because when I looked at this next number, and by the way, I think Tennessee falls just short of this number. I don't think they want to absolutely just show up ETSU, but you can only take what the yardage is in front of you. I think we're going to see a lot cleaner throws. My only concern I had about Joey Aguilar, here comes the nitpick. Some of the throws that he made against Syracuse, I think if he tries to make those throws against better defenses in the SEC, they could be going the other way.
Right.
And then we're not going to see that against ETSU, as you've already highlighted, even their defense on the FCS level. It could use a little bit of work on one side of the ball.
Yeah, you don't want the ball to sail like that. It's
There you
interesting.
go. Yeah.
Coach Heupel said he thought it was being slow on the RPO read. Just about everybody else thought it was more of, mechanics, fundamentals, and the ball's coming out high. But if you have too many balls that sail over, they're incomplete, and then you have 2 or 3 or 4 drops, then those can add up later on. So that is something to clean up.
Okay. The number we're going with here is 58.5. Somebody out there wants to know, 58.5, we laying them or we taking them? Chuck Cavalaris, I'll go first on this one. How messy do you want to make it? Tennessee, great performance against Syracuse, where even Fran Brown said post-game, they came out and gave us some looks that we weren't expecting. Hat tip to Josh Heupel on that offense.
Right.
Hat tip to Josh Heupel on that offense, and I think you're going to carry over. There's going to be a lot of fireworks, even though it might be tough to see him when this kickoff happens on Saturday. For me, I'm going to say give me 65, 67 points in that range to 1-3. So I'm going to lay every single one of these 58.5 points. Your old friend Tyler Ivens is telling you not to touch this game. Just sit back and relax. But if you're saying I got to have a little action on it, lay the points and take the balls. Chuck?
I'll tell you what, that's an awful lot of points, isn't it? The average margin of victory that I looked up, Josh Heupel, 4 games against FCS, is just a shade under 53 points.
Yeah.
So, I set it at 49.5. And that might have been low, but we split the panel on the sports source. So, that would be a ton. So, what about a garbage touchdown? What about a field goal? Can East Tennessee State score 10 points?
10 points is that. That's to me,
That's
if
good.
I was setting a team total in Vegas,
Right.
I'd set ETSU's team total at 9.5.
Right.
Because 10 points to me is key. So do they lay it? Are you going to lay it or are you going to throw?
I'm under. I'm going under.
Really?
Yes.
You're gonna,
How many did you say?
58.5.
Yeah, I'm going under that.
You're going to take the points. Okay.
No, I'm going under 58.5. I'm taking.
Right, but would you still lay the 58.5 as the spread that we set it at?
Yes.
Okay. One question I have for you before we wrap things up here, week 2, going into ETSU. Did you like, because last week, believe it or not, if you don't remember, we set it at 26.5 passing attempts for Joey Aguilar. He finished just a hair over that at 28.
Right.
Do you believe that we're going to see, let's say he gets a half a play. If I set an additional, Joey Aguilar, he threw the ball a little bit more. I thought they were going to come out and establish the run. Very first play, first 3 plays, pass, 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 distribute, distribute, distribute. Is that what we're going to get out of Joey Aguilar this year? More distribution. I thought it was going to be more ground and pound. For me, I'm okay if this is what Tennessee wants to do, trying to get a little bit more of that arm back into the game.
I think that's what we've been asking for a lot, hasn't it?
Last 2 years, definitely.
Some of these teams, Georgia, you're not going to be able to pound the ball, run the ball against teams like that.
Yeah.
So I like it, and I think one of my big criticisms of the offense, so many slow developing routes.
Right.
That you see the back of the receiver's, the name on the back of his jersey because he's going downfield. So I like that, and especially if you quick decisions, accurate with the ball, why not?
Joey Aguilar, impressive with his first showdown against Syracuse. Question is, a lot of you who have been asking for Jake Merklinger, how much Jake Merklinger do we see? How much George McIntyre do we see? And a lot of those young guys, those walk-ons and true freshmen, at what point in time do you see those in this matchup against ETSU?
And you know what I don't want to see?
Lay it on me, please.
Injuries. I don't want to see somebody out there pulling a hamstring, landing wrong, come out of this game clean, come out of this game confident, and then let's go play some football.
I mean, seriously, isn't it always a matchup against like an Akron or an Austin P or Kent State where something happens where you go, geez, this is going to set us back some 3-5 weeks? I'm with Chuck Cavalaris on that. I know it sounds kind of very coach speak, but try to be as healthy as possible, because the next time you see us here on the Sports Source Digital Network, the team that we're going to be previewing for the Vols, it ain't going to be ETSU. It's going to be the big SEC opener. A lot of people have got that September 13th matchup highlighted. Chuck Cavalaris, thank you.
See, man.
Tyler Ivens, we'll give it to you one more time. Like, comment, subscribe. Sports Source Digital Network getting you ready each and every week leading into Tennessee football. 1-0 start after that big win against Syracuse. We'll see you next week. Hey guys, Tyler Ivens. And with the upcoming sports season around the block, a lot of you out there are probably anxious to head to your favorite sports book. I'm here to remind you, be sure that you're setting limits. Never chase your losses, and make sure that you only gamble what you can afford to lose. And if you do have a sports gambling problem, call the Tennessee Red Light.